I was in the supermarket parking lot, 2 meters away from the junction. Now I could see a body. Damn, I'm in danger. Danger, I'm in danger. And I remember I went down on my knees. I shouted, Jesus! It was the night before maandamano. You remember the big maandamano that the Gen Zs had planned, and there was a lot of political tension in the country. That night I was at work and I was contemplating whether I should open work the following day. I had a client who I was filing for returns. I was a bit late. I was running a bit late because he hadn't filed returns in a really long time. I think it was in 8 years. So I was helping him sort out the returns. And then I remember I used to close at around 7 p.m. 7 p.m. I'd be heading out, or I'd be planning to go out if at all I had not yet closed. I remember I did what I could for the first 7 years, and I decided that, hey, I would finish the 8th year tomorrow if I open. Because I remember I had nilikuwa nashuku kama nitafungua because of the political tension in the country, and you don't know, you open and then you get looted or you just get hurt. From where I used to work to home, it was around a 25 minutes walk at most. It wasn't that far, so I used to walk most of the time, and sometimes I would take any means of transport, that is from Nduthi. Sana ilikuwa Nduthi actually. I never used to use a matatu because it was ridiculous. It was just ridiculous most of the times, apart from when it was raining. I remember I was calling a friend because I had his flash disk, and I had some content in the flash disk that I wanted to give to him. And I remember I had postponed, I procrastinated. It was long overdue. I was supposed to give him, and that was the night. I called him. He lived around the workplace I was staying, and I remember calling him, and we were talking about where we would meet at around that 7:15 or 7:30 p.m. so that I would give him the contents in the flash disk. So we met up, and at around 7:30 we met up. I gave it to him, and then I headed out. As I was walking, he mentioned something. He said, "Don't you think you should take Nduthi?" Akaniambia, "Wambo, isi uchukue Nduthi." And I was like, "No, I'd rather not, because I'm saving." Because honestly, guys, I felt like the money I was getting, I was just taking it. Nilikuwa nasikia nikana ipeleka tu kwa transport. I wasn't using my money wisely. So nikasema, acha tu nisichukue Nduthi leo. But something in me felt so heavy. I knew what I was supposed to do, but I was going against it. Remember, I started getting a headache. I don't know, I just felt uneasy. Something in me tells me just itisha Nduthi, because where we were standing, where I would normally take Nduthi was not far. It was just 20 meters away. But I told myself, let me just walk. So I continued walking. I went and I got to the supermarket. I bought some things. I remember that night I had a carry-on bag. I had my own bag where I put my phone and my wallet. No, my wallet was actually in this other bag where I put the thermos and the lunchbox and the whatever. I had a lot of things. For some reason, I had a lot of weird things in there. So remember, I put the shopping inside that bag. As I'm walking out the supermarket, I meet another Nduthi guy, and this Nduthi guy is somewhat my age, and he's like, "Hey, yes, madam, nikupeleke leo?" And I'm like, "No, si leo, labda kesho." But something in me is like, "Wewe msichana, pinduka. Please turn around and take the Nduthi, take the offer. Just take the offer. But you know, something inside you tells you something, and you snob it. So that was strike two, actually. I think I had such a rebellious spirit back then. I was in the supermarket parking lot, and it was a stretch of around 80 meters. That's when I was able to like get off the supermarket parking lot and now start heading home by a certain path, using a certain path. But that path was along a national, should I say a national highway in Kenya. It was just beside a major superhighway in Kenya. So there were street lights, yes. And to be honest, I've been taking that road for months. And nothing happened, so I was kind of used to it. Now here's where the tricky part came. So besides that, so this is the highway, and along the highway, at around a certain point, is where is my home. You get? My home was along a highway, but not like on the road. It was just a few meters inside. There were two ways I could get home. I could either follow the highway and then break off at some point, or so there was a certain bush path. Yes, by the name you could tell it was not the best of ideas, but there was a certain bush path that I would use that would lead me right at my gate, and I would always alternate between those paths just in case I'm being followed, just to confuse the enemy sometimes. And for months it did me well. But I think where I'm getting at to this story, the person studied me or waited for me I don't know. The person just, I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. But the person just waited, yeah. He just knew what to do. So I reached at this point, let me call it junction 1, where I either choose to use this path or I choose to use this bush path, the highway or the bush path, right? Picky pong key. So I land on the highway, but I chose the bush path. And I stand there for like 5 seconds, and I'm like, should I really use this? Because today I'm a bit late. Should I really use this path? But guess what I say? I say, nothing can harm me. I'm a child of God. Okay, I'm not lying. That is indeed what I said. So as I continued walking down that path, not far, like 5 meters into that path, a black, it wasn't a black cat, it was more of like a gray, short-haired cat, gray, blackish, gray with some black with some white. A short hair cat jumps out of the grass, and it startles me. And I'm like, at this point, this is like my third time something is telling me, madam, stop. Madam, just stop, turn around. Just stop and turn around. But mimi ni nani? Mimi naendelea na safari. And I'm like, no weapon fashioned against me will prosper. And now at that point, I think I started like praying in tongues. I think I started praying. I won't lie. I think I did. I started walking, and as I was walking, I reached a point where, okay, from the point where I saw the cat, it was like a bend, and then a straight path, and the straight path led to a junction. Now let's call that junction 2. So in this junction, before reaching the junction, I'm at around 50 meters away, and as I'm at this point, standing, looking forward to the junction was like a 4-way. It was like this and like this. You get it? So I was standing. Here's the junction. You get. And then now I'm like standing 50 meters back from the junction. And I look at that junction, and I notice like there was like a bit of traffic. I saw a lorry, I saw a piki. A piki is like a motorbike for those who don't know, and it's the same thing as a nduthi. So I see a nduthi go, I see a lorry, a big lorry, and I see another car behind the lorry, and I'm like, oh, so it's busy, so it's not bad, I can walk. So I start like picking up my pace, and I'm like walking a bit faster. But now this path I'm on is one of the scary one. Like I always pray while walking this stretch of 50 meters because it's always dark, and I don't know whether it's foolishness. I have so much faith in my heavenly Father that nothing will hurt me. I don't know. You might call it foolishness. I don't know. That's just how I am. I think. I don't know whether I'm still like that. Anyway, moving on. So at this point, I start walking. I'm moving forward, and then I look at the junction, and I realize, hey, that car is not moving. Whatever that vehicle is, it is not moving. Now I stop, and I'm like, okay, I couldn't think like of the worst thing. You see, like I just stopped, and I looked at it. I actually stopped for like 3 times trying to understand why is this car not moving. I don't know what I thought at that point. And as I'm now nearing the junction, there was a certain Boma is a homestead. There was a certain Boma on the other side of the junction, on the other side of the road now, on this side. So the owner of the Boma was a neighbor actually, because from the junction now to my home was like around another 40 meters. So it was not far. So he was technically my neighbor. And I start walking, and a few, like 10 meters away from the junction, I stop and I look at the Boma, and it's like the owner of the Boma was now heading in, because I could see like his driveway was late and his gate was open. So that pushes my confidence, and I'm like, whatever it is that can happen, I can just like walk fast because there are people outside, and that nothing bad might happen. That was my thought. So I walk fast. I start walking fast, and now that I'm like 2 meters away from the junction, now I could see a body, and I realized it was not a car, it was a nduthi, it was a motorbike. So I could see a body figure, and I could see the nduthi with the headlights on. And honestly, I didn't think much of it. So I started, just before I was about to like cross the road now, this nduthi man goes on full throttle. Excuse me. So this nduthi man goes on full throttle, and now starts like moving now. And in my head, imagine I have like proper function. I see this man, but I am not yet a threat. I didn't think much. I think at that time I was in this naive, or I don't know, I was just like, I've not hurt anyone, so I don't think there's anyone who wants to hurt me. And I feel like that is a rude awakening I got, and that was just life for me, right? So this guy is like coming at full throttle at me, and it was a bit wide. The road was a bit wide. So as he took the corner and started facing me, I gave him way. Like I got out of the way for him, because I was like, this guy wants to run over me. Like at that point, my mind hadn't yet registered like anything. So he comes over, and he's like full beam light, like his beam lights are like full capacity, and I can't see. So I'm like, So I decided to just get out of the way for him. I just assumed it was a him, because it was a him. Isn't it always a man at some point? So this guy comes and I get out of the way for him. But now here's the catch. So as I get out of the way, he starts following me. Like I get out of, like I go like this. He comes like this, I move like this. And then as I move, he now comes on my way. And then at this point is when is when my mind registers, my friend, you're in danger. Like my mind is like, oh, damn, I'm in danger. Danger, I'm in danger. Like, girl, you're in danger, you need to move. There was no talking, there was no words said. This guy came to me in like, I wasn't expecting it. So he comes at me and I'm trying to see, like I think majority of like the fractions of the seconds I wasted was like trying to look, but in my defense I was trying to look where I could pass because I couldn't see a thing. Like there was this like light in my eyes. So my mind now registers, girl, you need to run. So by the time I wanted to like duck, move like this, and now start running because now I couldn't see a thing. Before I could even like duck, he hit me. Something, yeah, I felt something come at me like this. And at contact, I felt so much hatred. I felt like it was like an energy transition or transmission. I felt like a lot of kilojoules, like kilojoules and kilojoules among kilojoules of energy, of hatred. I don't know if you measure hatred in kilojoules, I don't know, but it was a lot. It was a lot of energy, bad energy that I felt from the contact. I don't know how to explain that. And I went on my knees. So I was going like this, but before I could even like bend down, the energy like just came like this. And I remember I went down on my knees. And on my knees, I shouted, Jesus! Hey, the end has come. I didn't say the end has come, but that is what my mind told me. My body went into flight or fight. But I think it was flight because I didn't know who I was dealing with. I didn't see, I couldn't see, so I couldn't fight. The only thing I had left was flight. So I remember shouting, Jesus Christ, with a lot of conviction, with a lot of, I know this, I know this is not happening. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. And I shouted, Jesus Christ. I mean, I could not believe it. I could not believe this was happening. It was a shock. It was a shock. I left everything, and I think I got the second pump of adrenaline. The first one was from realizing that this guy is actually following me and actually wants to hurt me. When he actually made the turn after that was when the first pump of adrenaline kicked in. And now the second dose of adrenaline kicked in when I was on my knees. And mind you, this is happening in like seconds. It's not like it's happening in like fractions of seconds. So I got on my knees and I realized, girl, if you don't run, you will die. And I actually thought that this guy was actually out to kill me. I don't know why. I think it's just movies. The influence of movies, I don't know. I thought he was out to kill me. And I remember I ran. I became Murefe. I ran. I ran like my life, of which my life literally depended on it. And I remember screaming and I screamed. Okay, serious. On a serious note though, the neighbor actually got out. I was right. The neighbor actually got out with his wife. And I don't remember much. And I remember looking back and I couldn't see anyone. Like that guy like knew what he was doing. He just came, did what he did. He actually took the small bag. And the bag, not the bag that I had my phone in, but the bag the carry-on that I had. Looking back, and I realized that I was all alone, and I was like, that makes zero sense. And so yeah, the owner of this my neighbor's homestead came out. He came out with a machete. He came out with a machete, and I remember he came out with his wife and his watchman, and he was like, "What's the problem? What's the problem?" And I remember he was just like in my face with a flashlight, and was like, and I remember the wife just saying like, "Oh my God," and I was like, "Why? Why are you saying that?" But I remember something was dripping from my face. I remember like I felt something dripping, and actually my blood fell on the ground, and I really feel like that wasn't right in many ways. Why is blood falling on, like my blood falling on the ground? Now it just didn't sit right with me at all. So I remember blood was like gushing down my face on the side, and I remember the wife came to me and was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I was like, I was in panic mode, bro. I was in panic mode, and he tried to calm me down. I remember he was saying like things like, "Just calm down, madam, calm down, calm down, calm down. You're right. You're safe. You're safe." I remember him saying, I don't know what I was doing actually. I can't even remember what I was doing for him to say that, "Calm down." I remember he said that like very, very, very many times. And then I actually sat down and I was crying, and I was like, "Oh my God, like what? What just happened?" And at this point, I only had my carry-on bag. I was also walking around with a Masai shuka actually. A Masai shuka, if you don't know what a Masai shuka is, it's a Masai shuka. That had also fallen, and because it was cold, it was a bit cold, and I'm a bit sensitive to cold actually, so I usually used to carry around that with me, and I feel like that is what might have actually contributed to me being marked. Though I had different ones, it's not that I had one, like particular one, but I had different ones, but I feel like it was still a Masai shuka, and they actually marked me, or whoever actually attacked me marked me. So at this point, this gentleman, the owner of this homestead, he's actually an old guy. He was around, how old? I think he was around, if I could tell, I think he was around 40 something. He was around 40 something, heading on to 50. I sat down there, and we waited for the guy to circle around, and he actually did. He wanted to. I remember the owner of this homestead saying that, "Let's wait to see whether he'll circle around, because they want to see whether there's anyone who watched them, or they want to come back and see whether you fell." I don't want to imagine, you guys. I don't know. So I remember like 2 minutes later, he ordered the policeman? Oh, not the watchman, the soldier at the gate. He ordered the soldier at the gate to switch off the flashlight, his flashlight, so that they could know that there is actually no one there. It was dark. I saw nothing. All I remember was that the motorbike had yellow lights, and it had like green blinkers. So when that man passed, now that Ndure guy passed, is when now we got up. Actually, the man got up. He went and took some of the things that were on the floor, and at this point it was just my clothes. I think the clothes fell off from the carry-on I had. The clothes and my Masai shuka, that's what remained. And I walked home. He actually walked me home, and I remember getting the lecture, a somewhat lecture of telling me, "Why are you out at this night?" Mind you, it's only like 8:30 at this point. It was around 8:30. And I guess that, yeah, like that is late, but it's not late. So I remember as he took me home, we walked for like 2 minutes, and I think 2 minutes is too much. And at this point I look like, I look bad. My clothes are bloody. My face is bloody, swollen. My head is banging like I don't know what. And I open the gate, I get in, and then now it's time to call my mother. So I call my mother outside and I'm like, Mom, kuja nje kidogo. And she's like, what is this? And she sees me and she goes into panic mode and she's like, oh my God, what is that? What? And I get in, I sit down, and my mom gets out and talks to the neighbor. And she was heartbroken, guys. She was very much heartbroken. I was very much heartbroken as well. And I feel like, yeah, I didn't go to the hospital the very same day because, no, I couldn't bring myself to get out. I was so traumatized. So the following day in the morning, I just like tried to do some first aid to stop the bleeding. I had a really deep cut. So yeah, that's why I got this mark. It was a really deep cut. And now the crazy part is that I never saw the man. I never saw the man. All I saw was the headlights. All I saw was the freaking headlights. The freaking headlight. That's all I saw. Nothing else. The headlights. But now I started collecting my mind, going back and trying to understand like what really happened, like who could have done this to me. And I remembered a certain man who actually had on the same, and it was like 2 weeks, just 2 weeks prior. I don't think even 2 weeks had like elapsed or whatever had passed. 2 weeks prior, as I'm walking, you remember the first junction, the junction one, as I'm just about that place, this guy stops me and he calls me, hey, we malaya, unauza ngapi? For those who don't understand what that means, he said, you prostitute, how much for tonight? That is what he said. Mind you, I don't know this man. I don't know this man. But I think I saw his shadow. I think I saw his like silhouette or something. And that's all I got from this guy. And to be honest, I feel like that was the man who attacked me. And on the following day, I went and reported this case to the police. Mind you, we don't live far from a police station. The police station is like 50 meters away. Lord have mercy. So from that point when we were staying there was another stage that was just outside the police station. I remember seeing a man who looked very content, and he walked with his chest high. And he looked like he looked, personally, I'm a very good judge of character. Just, it's inborn, it's innate. Yeah, it's innate. I'm a very good judge of character 90% of the time. And I remember, I didn't make eye contact with him, but I remember just on a third point of view, I remember looking at him, and he was so proud. Like, he walked around with his chest high and he was laughing. And my intuition again told me that is the guy who did that to you. Mind you, I'm just from reporting the case and I don't have evidence because I didn't see him. But I remember seeing a black nduthi. You remember I mentioned just as I was heading towards that junction, there were like traffic and there was a lorry and there was a nduthi. Now I remember there was a nduthi that went on the direction of my home because there was a junction. I think I didn't mention where my home was. My home is like straight from where I was standing to the junction to another 50 meters. You remember I said I was standing 50 meters from the junction, and then the junction, and then another 50 meters so I can reach home. So yeah, that was it. That was it. And that is how I saw that black nduthi. I saw that black nduthi, and I am very sure I saw that black nduthi, and I went and said it to the police station, because if that nduthi saw this other guy, because this guy was standing here for a really long time, and this nduthi came like this, so he definitely saw this other person, and he knows. But now it's a matter of life and death. I can't just go saying these things. And you see, it's been almost a year, 11 months, like 10 months from when that thing happened. And the shocking part is that nothing has ever been done. That guy has never been caught. Never ever been caught. And another thing, another shocking part is that I am not the only one. I was only number 1 of 6. There have been other ladies who have been attacked in the same way. Okay, there have been other ladies who were attacked in the same way I was attacked in a span of a month.
Venye alinitunga mimi nilianguka, nikaona na bleed, ndivyo nilikimbishwa hospitali.
Akanipigia akashika miguu moja, akajaribu kunifuruta kwa amenishika vizuri.
It was really traumatizing. It really altered my brain chemistry. But you know what, guys? I don't know. I feel like things happen for a reason, and the first few months after that incident were really tough on me. I ended up quitting like after 2 months, and I went on a really, like, not though it was not immediate, but I went on a really long healing journey. And I can say at this point, you can see I haven't cried through the entire story. I was actually laughing and not believing it, because it is just crazy. It's just crazy if you ask me. But it is what it is, and I actually thank God. But I remember my relationship with God after that incident was pretty severed. Not severed, actually. It was pretty hammered, like a good one. Because I was like, God, why did you accept for this to happen? I was literally praying to you the moment it happened. I remember, like I mentioned, I was praying, and I don't want it to be a pick me. I'm just a prayerful person. I just talk to God. And I'm not saying this to brag or to be like a holy Joe. You can also talk to God. I mean, it's something you can do. You don't need to judge me for it. It's just something I do. And yani, I was trying to understand. I was trying to make sense out of it. And I realized that I need to be grateful, because it is either I could have gone blind. Because can you see the close proximity to my eye? It's either I could have gone blind or I could have died. It's either I could have gone blind, or right now I could have been 6 feet under if I had done anything different from what actually happened. And that's fateful night. I'm blessed to be alive. I'm actually more aware of my feelings. I'm actually more aware of my mental health, because even before that happened, I was struggling with a lot of issues. But when that happened, it led me down a spiral. I was nosediving at 360 kilometers per second. But I'm not glad it happened. I don't know if I can say I'm glad it happened, but it happened, and I'm glad I'm alive. Right now, all I have for that story is badge of honor, because I carry this badge of honor with a lot of pride and confidence. A lot of people came for me and said, "What were you doing alone at night? That is all on you," from relatives. you better listen to your intuition. Your intuition is not just you. It's personally I believe is God in you, you know? And if you don't listen, you're the one who will end up hurting, and you'll end up asking God questions like the ones I asked him during that healing period, or even this healing period. When your intuition tells you something, you listen, because there are a lot of unseen things you can't see with your eyes, or hear with your ears, or smell with your nose, or feel with your skin or your touch, but you are actually being looked out for. So I got my lesson. Right now I don't play with intuition, and I usually just pray for grace, not to be rebellious, not to be ignorant, not to be arrogant. I think arrogant is the word. Arrogant when I'm told something, I just obey. Sana from God and from my intuition. I just, because it is my best, for my what? How can I say this? For my best, like my best regards. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching till this far. Be sure to watch this other video and I'll see you on my next upload. Take care. Bye.